with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and this is the segment that we do on Monday about homeownership. And as I said from my show, we try to learn things about homeownership, buying a house, and being a good neighbor. And today we're going to talk to Stacia at SLK. She's going to talk to us about, I have a squeaky chair. We're going to talk about it being National Radon Month. And we're going to talk about radon because she does radon testing. And she's actually brought a machine, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about what radon is. So Stacia, first question, what is radon?
What is radon? All right. A lot of people have this really concept of that radon is so scary. And if a house has radon, or if you have radon, you're going to know it. And they see it as a scary thing. Radon is a bad thing. It's a second leading cause of cancer, lung cancer. So it is something that needs to be addressed. But what radon is, it's just a natural occurring gas. Comes up from the ground. It's inside, it's outside. What happens though is in a home with the windows shut, doors shut, and all that, the radon level can elevate. Once it gets above what they say action level of 4.0, then it becomes dangerous to your health.
And
so
it doesn't smell like anything.
You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. The only way to know that if you have radon in your house is to test it.
And how do we test it?
So the way that you test it, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can go down to your local hardware store, get a little piece of charcoal. And I believe you set those in your house for 5 days. You hang them from the ceiling. And then you have to FedEx them to a lab, and then they process them, and then they, send those back to you. Or you can hire a professional, and we can come in. We get our tests done in 2 days. We'll come in. We have a little machine, such as this. Much more high tech. It's a $1,000 machine versus your little $5, charcoal. So it's a little bit more accurate.
Right.
Come in, we set it on a tripod.
Like this, in the basement or the lowest level of the property. So
Right.
if it's a tri-level home, it would be on that lowest level.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So come in, we start our little machine. It runs for 48 hours. And then at the end of that, we can give the results of whether it's high or low. A couple of things that you want to know: that when you are going to test, you want to make sure and keep your windows closed. You want to keep your doors closed.
You just want to live in your house as usual, but not decide that particular day that it's a beautiful day and to open up all the windows and let your air out.
Right. And some people have misconception that if you open your windows, that you're airing your house out, where actually you're creating a suction and you're pulling the radon in through the cracks, through your plumbing, all those different things. So you're actually elevating your levels.
Right.
When you think you're lowering them.
Right.
So always keep the house tidied up as far as air goes 24 hours before it goes.
Okay.
So a couple, what I did, LeAnna, I kind of made a little facts list and a myths list, and because a lot of people, again, radon's a scary thing, and they don't know anything about it other than it's a killer.
So I'll hold this up.
So first one that we touched on, you can't see radon, you can't smell it, you cannot taste it. You need to test for it. Second thing is that, again, radon is found in the soil, so it is going to come up through the basement, through the cement. Even if you have a slab home, comes up, because every home, there's not a home that is perfectly sealed. You've got plumbing, you've got anything that can release that gas. It's a radioactive gas. It just seeps through there. It is, again, the second leading cause of lung cancer, only next to smoking. I put a little chart together, LeAnna, you can't see this, I know.
I know, it's like you're talking to a piece of paper.
Anyway, radon kills approximately 21,000 people a year. If you look at that's almost 3,000 more than drunk driving a year. Falls in the home, drownings is about 4,000, and home fires. So it really is something to be contested with.
So, okay, so backing up, when I go to sell a house, sometimes the seller will already have tested the house, had radon be high, and then have a system in place. So let's talk a little bit about if there is already a system in place and the buyer comes into the house and says, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I want to buy this house. They have radon because they have this system.
Right,
What would
right.
you as the professional say to that?
I would say no, that's great. What you want to do is test, fix it, save a life.
Okay.
That's their motto. So they've obviously tested it. They've obviously put in a system, fixed it. So they've already spent the money, the big money.
So let's talk a little bit about what it takes to fix it. So let's say we know that 4 is the highest that we can go.
That's correct.
So if we have, the buyer comes in, pays the $125 to have you come in and test it with your fancy machine over the
Yes.
48 hours, you give them a report and it comes in as a 10. So we need to bring it 4 or under. So how do we do that and who does that?
Okay, so number one, yes, when you're buying a house, that is definitely a perfect time to test, because when you're buying, if you come in with a high level of radon, radon is a defect, just
Right.
like a bad roof, just like windows,
Right.
anything like that. So that's the time to get it fixed, because it's going to be on their dollar versus your dollar majority of the time, right? Not always.
Typically, yes.
Yeah. So, and just like anything, you're going to negotiate, like
Right.
with the roof, whatever. But so, because radon testing is getting more and more popular, so if you don't test when you go to sell your house, you may be on the back end of having to
Plus
pay
you've
for
lived in a
that.
house with radon the entire time that you've lived there until
Exactly,
you've tested.
exactly. So what you want to do is, so the mitigation, if they had a mitigation, back to your first question, if they had a mitigation, I would go ahead and test it, because you want to test every 2 years.
Okay.
Even if it's been tested once. Sometimes, well, those fans will go out about, they have a battery or a life of about 5 years.
Okay.
They actually plug in, it's not a battery, but those fans usually last about 5 years.
So how to mitigate, because we're running out of time, is basically bring a machine in with some piping and it has a fan and it
Exactly.
blows the air out of the house.
It
and
sucks
takes
the
away-
radon out from the soil, takes it up, misses the house, and then goes out.
And
So
you don't do that, another company does
That is correct.
So you're not in the racket of just selling
Correct.
Radon systems.
Correct.
You test, and that's all you do, and then another company would bring the radon system in.
That's
That is a
correct.
big myth too, that,
Right.
oh, they just sell radon is because she sells me the system. No,
Right.
the radon company only tests, and then another radon company comes in and does the mitigation,
Correct.
and it's about $850.
If you're the
seller.
seller. Yep,
If
yep.
you're the seller,